Yo, what's up, family? Before we start the video, please leave a like, subscribe, and share to any and everyone that you can. Just read out there a little bit more. With that being said, let's get right into the video. All right, how y'all doing? Actually, that's a perfect way to start this, man. It's sharks in the water, man. Y'all boys better get out the water, man. Listen, man, I know they got us in the playoffs, so I can't talk the talk like I want to, because they just gonna come and say, oh, we beat y'all, whatever, man. I understand. There is a formula to beat this team that the Celtics have had on both sides of the ball, right? And especially without OG Anunoby, their defense gets worse by default because he's their best defender. The Celtics, like, they attack the weak points whenever we play this team. It's Cat and it's Jalen Brunson, man. Go at these guys. Go at them as much as you can, and your offense will really benefit from it. Win at Carl Towns a lot in, like, the first, like, stint in the game. We were down 17-4. We didn't really attack Brunson at all. But we did get some good shots on Cat. We just were, kind of sped up offensively, but the roles for Kata were there all game. And what I love what Kata does on majority of these, especially against a guy like Carl Towns, right? He opts to screen on the side where Cat has to, like, run to get to the handler. So if he just screens here, right, we can still beat Cat anyway, right? But if he goes to this side, now Cat has to run over there and guard. And you see how long it takes him to actually realize that Derek White is going on that side. He's still not reacting to it. Now he gets it, but now he has to come over off of Kata. Kata says a good screen on Mikal Bridges, so now he's not able to really get in front of Kata and stop this roll. Only hope they have is Josh Hart, who is the tag right here. He doesn't get over because he has Jaylen Brown. We get a lob. All right, so as you see, 17-4, like I said, this is the first time that the Celtics put Jalen Brunson into any action. Again, they were getting good shots against Carl Towns. They weren't really hitting them, but like this really got Jaylen Brown going. He did struggle to begin this game, was just like trying so hard to get going, and this kind of got him going. So what the Knicks were trying to do, right, they wanted Jalen Brunson. It's the same thing that the Cavs did in our last game. I wrote about that on Celtics blog. Link will be in the description on that. The Cavs put Darius Garland on our wings, so like Jordan Walsh, Baylor Shyman, Josh Minot, Sam Hauser, right? And it's the same thing that the Knicks did. They got him on Jordan Walsh, they got him on Josh Minot, guys that are not Derek White, Jaylen Brown, and Peyton Pritchard, right? So these guys, Jordan Walsh, who had a phenomenal game, Hugo Gonzalez, who had a phenomenal game, Josh Minot, phenomenal game. These guys are really important screeners in this game because you have to know how to screen versus what coverage, right? So in these cases where they're trying to get the switch, the coverage, well, the screen against this coverage is to hold this guy for as long as you can without getting a foul, because we absolutely want Jalen Brunson to be switched on to Jaylen Brown. So that's what happens here. And the next important thing is getting out of the way, because if Jordan Walsh just goes here, Josh Hart is able to take away this whole right side, right? And then you got Mikal Bridges over here. So Jaylen Brown has less space to work with. But you see where Josh Hart is, right? Once Jordan Walsh completely clears this, goes to the short corner or the dunker spot, right? You see how Josh Hart drops, and that gives Jaylen Brown this whole top side, and he gets a bucket. All right, so here the Celtics go to Zoom Max for Jaylen Brown. He gets the handoff, and probably the best defensive play that Carl Towns made in this game right here. I believe Jalen just thought he was going to drop back more. Carl Towns makes a solid play. But again, now this action doesn't directly have Jalen Brunson in it, right? But any pick and roll where he's the tagger, just throw the ball up. Like, either he's going to have to foul Kata, like hit him really hard before he gets all the way to the basket, or he's just gonna get a lob, because like there's nothing he can do as the tag in the situation with Kata rolling, right? So if we see Jalen Brunson as the low man, and that's another thing, like creating opportunities where Jalen Brunson is the low man. So our wings, whoever he's checking, can impact the offense in so many ways. There'll be one where I'll show later, right? But then the screening to get Jalen Brunson on to Jaylen Brown, then being in the corner, force him to be the low man and to be the tag in the last line of defense with Kata rolling. And that's just not good for the Knicks. The Celtics took advantage of that in this game. All right, so this is another way that our athletic wings contributed in this game against Jalen Brunson. Right here, you see Kata twisting the screens right there. Carl Towns just providing nothing, giving Jaylen Brown no open shot. But look at Jordan Walsh, right? If you have Jalen Brunson checking you, right, of course, like, we're not going to ISO Jordan Walsh, you know what I'm saying? He's going to be screening, he's going to be sitting in the corner, forcing Jalen Brunson to be the low man in a lot of these screen roll actions, right? But another thing is, when a shot goes up, go. He can't hold you. Jordan Walsh just goes right past him and gets it off his rebound. All right, so another situation in screen and roll actions where Jalen Brunson is the low man. The Celtics ran Spain like 15 times in this game, and up to this point, they've run it like 5 times. So they're not even like really setting it up anymore. They're just running it because they know the Knicks can't really stop it. Now, an important thing about Kata here, right? So they try to set the screen really high the first time, right? Mikal Bridges goes under because, I mean, Derek White can't hit this, but it's just not a great shot, especially the way that he's shooting, right? So he goes under, right? Kata twists the screen. You see how he goes under, then he twists, and now we really get into it. So now He sets a good screen on Mikal Bridges. Cat drops all the way back because they know what play is being ran. They just can't stop it. They did stop it twice in the third quarter, I believe. Up to like the first half, all the way through the first half of the third quarter, they just could not do anything with this play. Derrick White comes off the screen, and we talked about like Jalen Brunson, right? If he's the corner man, if he's the low tag, he's the last line of defense with Cater rolls in the basket. There's just nothing he can do in these situations. I see the Celtics go to 77 action, which is just 2 consecutive on-ball screens. Joe Mazzulla calls it double. On this play, they do get a switch for Jalen Brunson there. I would rather just go after Jalen Brunson, honestly. Anthony Simons, of course, still has an advantage on Mitchell Robinson, but Mitchell Robinson, I think, can provide more resistance than Jalen Brunson. So, like, while I was watching this game, I was like, just go after Jalen Brunson. But Anthony Simons did something on this play that no other Celtics guard did when they got Mitchell Robinson on them. He actually used his advantage, which is the quickness, right there with the crossover. Gets a layup. All right, so the Celtics run 77 again, get the first switch on Jalen Brunson, then the second one targeted Mitchell Robinson. And again, you're on an athletic wing. Josh Minot has 7 inches of height, all the athleticism over Jalen Brunson. When the shot goes up, you need to be crashing hard. He can't hold you. Another putback. All right, so the Celtics run Spain again. To me, Cater sets a good enough screen to get Josh Hart off of Jalen Brown. Peyton Pritchard coming out to the 3-point line has Tyler Kolek attached to him. Carmody Towns just watches Jalen Brown dunk. And the Celtics are gonna go right back to it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Good, phenomenal screen by Cater. Look how much space he has, man. Look at my space. Cat just looking at him like, yeah, that's an NBA player, sure. And something that I really learned from a certain Latvian man that was here last year is that defensive matchups 100% can shape the matchups you get on the other side of the court, because Jalen Brown here ends up contesting Tyler Kolek, right? So he contested 3 on Tyler Kolek, right? So that means that you see how Jalen Brown already has the advantage going down court. Now, Tyler Kolek has absolutely no other choice but to guard Jalen Brown. If we push the ball and we get it to Jalen Brown, right, he could be sealing his man like he is right now. Perfect pass by Anthony Simons. We saw this a lot with Tatum, with the Latvian man, right? When they were switched on to guys and they shot 3s over them, that means if they run down, that guy has to check them on the other side. And Jalen Brown gets the and 1 here on Kolek. As shoes, we got Peyton Pritchard at the free throw line with Jalen Brunson. Of course, the screen for this coverage is to hold for as long as you can without getting a call to force a switch. Now, something that varies, right? And I love how the Celtics do this, and I love that the big athletic wings actually like recognize this stuff and actually do their job, right? So we saw on the last couple plays where like Jordan Walsh would set the screen because he had Jalen Brunson on the right, and he would clear. He would go to the dunker spot. He would go to the corner, so Jalen Brown could take advantage of this. Peyton Pritchard sets the screen and he goes to the hash mark because he's actually a threat from there. And we saw a lot in the Cleveland game where Jalen Brown had a triple-double and Peyton Pritchard was able to go off. That when these guys help on Jalen Brown when he has a mismatch, Peyton Pritchard is actually a threat from here, whether he can shoot it, whether he can drive, but whoever his defender is, when they help, they actually have to respect him from this range. So it's so dangerous that he can be a threat from there. But Jalen Brown had, oh my gosh, stay on your feet, bro. You ain't blocking that shot anyway. But you see how Mitchell Robinson, like as soon as Jalen Brown gets a switch, he's already cheating over, right? He comes all the way up here. Now he's getting into the paint, He hesitates, draws 3 Knicks defenders in the paint, sprays it out to mine on the corner, and he knocks it down. And Jalen Brown sees food again and dunks on the Knicks. All right, so this time we got Jalen Brown as a screener. He's going to set the screen right there's going to hold so Jalen Brunson can't get onto him. And then from there, we just go get a bucket. I just enjoyed how deliberate they were in this and how every single thing they do has a purpose. And so you got Yabu and Jalen Brunson here, right? He's saying, go check Ugo. As soon as Ugo sees that Jalen Brunson is on him, he goes to screen. And I talked about like what screen is needed for certain coverages, what screen is needed for certain situations. In this situation, of course, whoever has Jalen Brunson on them, they need to hold this screen for as long as they can without getting an illegal screen so Jalen Brunson can be switched on to Jalen Brown. The first time Jalen Brunson kind of just pops out on them, they're able to get back. He's like, yeah, nah, you're going to get switched on to him. And this time really sets a hard screen, holds Josh Hart for as long as he can. Now we get the switch. And I talked about how Peyton Pritchard, if he's the one setting the screen to get Jalen Brunson switched on to Jalen Brown, he's able to stay at this hash mark because he's actually a threat from there. The athletic wings, you see Jalen Brown telling him to move because with Ugo here, Josh Hart is able to be right here and help Jalen Brunson, right? Josh might not. They just swapped. Josh Hart is still able to be right here and help. But once they immediately actually clear out, you see how that drops Josh Hart all the way down. Now he's in no position to help Jalen Brunson. Step back with Jalen Brown in the mid-range. All right, something that I've always said with playing Carl-Anthony Towns is just make him move his feet on defense. Like, make him move. If you make him move, good things will happen for your offense, right? So here, Miles McBride does a nice job. He ices this screen, so Cater can't screen. You see how he jumps out on this side. Cater just does a good job of changing the angle of the screen. Right now we can get it to it. Confidently Towns in drop coverage. Gives up a wide open three. Watch this fake effort contest, right? It's just, whatever, right? So he doesn't contest a shot. Okay, cool. You don't contest a shot, you give up an open three. Okay, well, at least King could hook the rebound if you're not going to contest. Kidder runs right by him for the putback. If you've been on my channel, you have heard me say the Celtics do a phenomenal job of not being robots, right? That means, of course, we have set plays, we have things that we want to get to, but do it based on what the defense gives you. And if the defense is taking something away, just be a basketball player, right? So the Celtics don't have a great space in here, right? So Jalen Brunson's our Nugo, but right, Mikal Bridges is like right there. So he tried to set the screen, they switch it so that Mikal Bridges is in the action. They're like, okay, well, I mean, we're just gonna do it again, right? Jalen Brown's now the screen on his action. The goal, of course, is to get Jalen Brunson on them. But you see Jalen Brunson's gonna jump right to Jalen Brown so he can try to go over the screen and again try to negate the switch. Derek White's like, okay, I'll just take this driving lane you give me, then I'll create a 2-on-1 right here, attack Confidently Towns because I know he's not gonna do anything. Josh Minott gets a 3. All right, so here just really simple. Ugo sets a screen on Mikal Bridges. Jalen Brown gets a switch of Jalen Brunson, just rides right over him. All right, I thought this play was kind of funny. So we got Deuce McBride on Ugo, and we have Jalen Brunson on Anthony Simons. Ugo drops down, goes next to Jalen Brunson so he can get him on him, so we actually get that switch, right? It looks like Anthony Simons wants to set some ram action so he can set the off-ball screen so Ugo can go set the screen for Derek White. Deuce McBride's like, no, don't attack Jalen Brunson, come here. And every time I was like, okay, I'll just go screen. Like, what? No, brother. That doesn't happen. They were like, okay, now we get into it, right? He sets the screen for Jalen Brunson, sets the screen on Mikal Bridges. Jalen Brunson gets shot right over. And man, there were a couple times in this game where Jalen Brown got the switch that he liked. He told everybody, man, just get out the way. I got it. And he did have it. Again, Jalen Brown gets a matchup that he wants against Mitchell Robinson. He's like, all right, everybody go down. I want a 1-4 flat. Everybody get out the way. And now the Knicks are like, all right, we're not going to just let this happen again. So Tyler Kolek goes up, right? They leave Derek White. 2-on-1 situation is created because Jalen Brown is just such a good basketball player, right? They want the ball out of his hands. 2-on-1 between Derek White. I think that's Josh Minott, yeah, against Jalen Brunson. He passed it to Derek White. He shoots right over Jalen Brunson again. All right, so what the Knicks did at the end of that third quarter, just to like get the ball out of Jalen Brown's hands, that was a one-off, right? They weren't doing that all game. But in this last like 6:20, right, they came out of a timeout and they're like, okay, we're going to start doubling Jalen Brown. And for Jalen Brown to have, 35 points up to this point and being able to get whatever matchup he wanted for the first 3 quarters and take advantage of it, to in-game adjustments switch to being doubled, and to like trust his teammates in the clutch to make plays, to do the right thing, and him just being able to make the right basketball play every single time is a lot, man. Jordan Walsh, probably the best 6-play stretch you're going to see from Jordan Walsh ever, bro. Just making play after play. All right, so here Jordan Walsh is going to set the screen again, and the Knicks are going to do the exact same thing. They're going to put 2 on the ball. Jalen Brown, again, trusting Jordan Walsh to make the right play. Jordan Walsh makes the right play twice. So he gets the pass to Josh Minott for the open 3. But again, athletic wing against Jalen Brunson on the glass, not good for the Knicks. So now we got everybody making the right play. So we got Jalen Brown out to the wing. Of course, Josh Minott has Jalen Brunson on him. They send 2 to the ball, make the right play. 3-on-2 advantage, right? Joe Mazzulla always talks about 3-on-2s, 2-on-1s, right? Josh Minott makes the right play. Jordan Walsh makes the right play. Pump fake, 3. But that is the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, subscribe, and share it in everyone that you can. Just bring you out there a little bit more. And I will see you guys in the next video. This is Nick. Peace.